What is up, everyone? Sean here, and welcome to the Hawke Talks. Today, we're going to be talking about the EVO 2019 lineup reveal and my thoughts about it. So, I definitely wanted to talk about this since EVO is one of my kind of like the yearly thing to go to as for right now. But this time around, I think this is definitely looking pretty good overall if you want the cliff notes of it. But I will, just go over each title that was revealed and just go through it, and here we go. So I'm just gonna just go off of this picture here in order, I guess, from left to right. Left to right, upper corner, left corner, so anyway, Under Night in Birth, or Uniest for those who know the nickname. Uniest was probably the biggest surprise, next to something like Samurai Showdown or something like that. But I think this is pretty big. This is definitely pretty big for the community of Uniest, and it's been creeping up on the popularity kind of sort of I guess poll. No, it's been just really growing steadily, and the more live streams that are popping up, more I think more people are tuning in, stuff like that. And there's always been a pretty big turnout for said tournament. I think this is pretty cool. I think games like this should pop up more, and they definitely need or deserve that main stage attention. It was always the side tournament material for a lot of tournaments, but EVO of all things stepping up by giving us Uniest for main stage game. So I think that's really cool. I'm definitely not against it. Something like this is always great to see. And including games like Skullgirls and stuff like that in the past. But I think Uniest is a great choice for main stage game. It is like a surprise game to really see up on main stage. And I think it's just awesome to see games like this. Hopefully we get to see more games that are kind of like Under Night in Birth in terms of like like the popularity and stuff like that. How well-rounded it is, just fun to watch, or even fun to play, even for depending on the individual, of course. But anyway, it's awesome. Next up, we have Super Smash Bros. Ultimate. This is, of course, the opposite. Like no surprise there, right? But yeah, this is really looking good for Smash Bros. Ultimate. I think the game is fun, but not only that, I think the game is pretty fun to watch as well. It's got a lot of players, it's got a lot of viewers. It's good all-around game. How can you not have Super Smash Bros. Ultimate at a tournament like this? So again, it's like no surprise comparing to Under Night in Birth. It was a no-brainer, and I am happy to see Smash Bros. Hitting it up at the main stage for EVO this year. So good on them, and especially Nintendo. Now, number 3, I'm actually kind of surprised. I don't know why I said number 3, but whatever. Dragon Ball FighterZ, that's another kind of a surprise to me because of the whole licensing issue thing. But I think what's going on is that it just really depends on each country and stuff like that. So I think it may have been settled for the most part, at least for the US. But I haven't really looked into that as of late, so correct me if I'm wrong. Please, just comment in the section, comment in the comment section below to kind of help people catch up on what's going on with that issue. But nonetheless, we have Dragon Ball FighterZ back in EVO 2019. It was looking kind of shaky, with when this problem first kind of became a thing on especially on Twitter, when it blew up. And tournaments like EVO Japan 2019 and Anime Ascension and stuff like that. Even other tournaments couldn't show or have Dragon Ball FighterZ because of this issue, but looks like it is looking good for FighterZ. And now it is understandable why it's not a Sunday Finals game, because the game unfortunately is still takes a little longer than a lot of people want, and especially people at EVO. It's understandable, and I myself and my friends, we went to watch finals live last year, and oh boy, I mean, it was exciting at first, but it kind of just dwindled down as the game went on, because the nature of it is it's pretty slow, especially when you add Japanese players to the mix, because they're pretty defensive, right, at least for that time, and the game can take way longer. So even with the patch this time around, I think it's still a little too slow for being a Sunday Finals game at EVO. So a little unfortunate. I mean, I wish they could have done a little better when it comes to the overall gameplay, but Fighters is still big. It's it's still carrying a lot of momentum. It's got a lot of viewers still, and a good number of players, and the storyline is still strong, between players. So, Kazunoko won the whole world tour and got all pretty much most of the Dragon Balls and everything. So, we'll see how he performs during that time, and the rest of the year as well. So, I'm just glad that Fighters made it in general into EVO this year. I'm happy for the community. I'm happy for the Dragon Ball fans, and it's good to see games like this because it does give hope to, for other anime games like Dragon Ball Fighters, a little more hope, because, the licensing issues hopefully will start to kind of simmer down a bit, and, and settle down, and meaning, we'll see more games like Dragon Ball Fighters at tournaments again, and even future anime fighting games that will feature the anime I like One Piece, for example, or whatever. Hopefully we won't see issues on those games like what happened to Fighters. But now we have BB Tag, aka Blaze Blue Cross Tag Battle. This one is another favorite of mine. It's kind of like the underdog, but now it's time. It's this time it's getting more of the spotlight it kind of deserves. In my opinion, it's a fun game, and it continues to be fun. I think we've played it not too long ago, and it's still a ton of fun with friends, and I'm really glad that this is getting main stage treatment once again. And I'll talk more about the Sunday Finals lineup, but where I'm going with this. I mean, I'm really glad that again they put this in the menu, and that also means we're definitely going to see some reveals and stuff like that for the next Fate, the whole Arcana Heart thing that happened not too long ago, and it just brings more exciting things. So all around when it comes to Blaze Blue Cross Tag Battle, and also for Arxis and stuff like that, stuff around it just brings excitement, and I'm happy that Cross Tag Battle is making it into the lineup here. Now, next up is another favorite of mine, is Tekken 7. I really still like this game to a certain extent. I haven't played it with friends in a very long time, but it's still in the back of my mind. I still like Tekken for what it is. I love the gameplay of it. I love the feel. I can't wait for Negan and Julia to show up. I definitely want to try out Negan for sure, just to see what he's like. I definitely want to lab it up. But point being, I'm glad Tekken 7 has made it back in there. It's another popular game. It's really good. It's really holding itself together a lot better than, let's say, Tekken 6. Remember that game? And Tekken 7 is just a great Tekken game all around. And again, it's definitely getting the treatment that it deserves. Hopefully, the World Tour goes a lot smoother. I've been hearing about a whole lot of issues with the money and stuff like that. At least for the last World Tour, but let's see how this one goes. So, prayers to Tekken 7's World Tour being a bigger success than the one last year. And now, next up, we have Street Fighter V. This is of course, the standard. This is the the Coca-Cola. You know what I mean? The name brand for EVO. You gotta have Street Fighter in your lineup, right, for an EVO tournament. So of course, Street Fighter V Arcade Edition is coming for EVO 2019. That is absolutely no-brainer. I know it's been getting a lot of flack. It's still it's got its problems, but it's a Street Fighter game. It's still popular. People are just playing it still, and that's all there is to it, pretty much. It's Street Fighter. Maybe we'll get to see something exciting there, or unlike the last Capcom reveal or whatever from 2018 in December. That was a little painful because, yeah, we got to see Kage, but hey, man, it is what it is. We'll get to see something at least for March when it comes to Street Fighter 5, because I know that's the Capcom Pro Tour starting, and also the arcade actually coming out in that same month, which is why probably they're saving that announcement for March. But anyways, back to here. It's again, it's a no-brainer. You know, people are still playing this, and all the top players are, you know, still at it, and the meta is definitely shifting around thanks to the patches and stuff. You know, I hear that, you know, Birdie is like really good now, and you know, Fudo is rocking him, and Zeku is climbing up there too, and you know, we'll see how the meta kind of evolves starting from, you know, especially with March coming up, not too long from now, and the, you know, Capcom Pro Tour kicking up, and also, you know, what kind of reveals we're going to be getting starting with that. And I just can't wait for more. I still, you know, have it back in my mind, not to the same degree like Tekken 7, but it's a Street Fighter game, so, you know, it's something I always will, you know, think about. I always, you know, try to see if there's like new stuff going on, and you know, that's that. Just glad that it's getting, you know, the same kind of treatment, I guess, for EVO. But anyways, next up we have SOULCALIBUR 6. This is another fun one. You know, I think it definitely deserves a spot at EVO, just because, you know, it's the latest and greatest SOULCALIBUR game, and we need, you know, games like this need to be at EVO, you know, like a weapon fighter per se. And you know, another great game from Namco. I think SOULCALIBUR 6 is a good product. Maybe some little issues with the balancing, maybe, but other than that, it's still fun. It's, you know, a great game to watch, and I remember watching it in EVO Japan, you know, during the finals, and those were pretty fun to watch. So happy that that SOULCALIBUR 6 is, you know, part of the lineup. So glad to see that. And this one's a little more on the uncommon side, because they tend to SOULCALIBUR tends to kind of die off a little faster than Tekken games. But that's just me. That's from my personal observation. But we'll see how SOULCALIBUR 6 kind of simmers with, or synergizes with people, and you know, we'll see how that turns out. Next up, this is another no-brainer: Mortal Kombat 11. I mean, how can you not have a game like this coming to EVO? Like, this is looking really good so far. I mean, I know the game hasn't come out yet as I record this, but from what I've seen, the game looks really good. The combat seems interesting. This time around, it's very footsie based, neutral based, not so much like the heavy rush down mix up sort of heavy kind of gameplay like we've seen with MKX. So we'll definitely have gotta see how it turns out, and I definitely want to see how the finals kind of, or top 8 kind of turns out for Mortal Kombat. And but yeah, you know, I'm glad to see Mortal Kombat making it in there. You know, Injustice 2, I feel like it wasn't really cutting it. You know, it's just, it lacks that finesse, and it lacks that flash, the over the topness of fighting games. You know, in my opinion, it's kind of just too, I don't know, sterile. I don't know. I don't know what the word for it is, but it's a little too clean, maybe, if that makes sense. I don't know. But Mortal Kombat is like over the top. It's got the violence, it's got the gore. You know, it's got cool moves and stuff like that. It's got that Mortal Kombat kind of that Mortal Kombat, you know, coding on it. That's great. And I definitely can't wait to see what the kind of meta, you know, shifts into once the game comes out and we see it by, you know, August. So the last one is another big surprise, like, you know, Under Night in Birth, and we have Samurai SHODOWN coming to this lineup for EVO 2019. Whoa! I mean, I definitely did not expect this to see, and I would have, you know, expected to see something like, you know, KOF or something, but you know, you gotta show off the new game from SNK, so it's understandable that they wanted this game over, you know, the KOF, and it's the newest game, so you know, you gotta show it off, and it looks cool so far. I love the art style for it. I really like how it looks, and it's just really interesting to see the combat and stuff like that. It's another weapon fighter, you know, this time in the 2D plane, and it's got, you know, all the samurai and ninja and stuff like that. It's really cool. It's a classic, and you know, it can't go wrong with Samurai SHODOWN or KOF. So, you know, Samurai SHODOWN, I don't disagree with it. and entirely, and it's kind of cool to see games like this showing up, once again. We have Untitled in Birth, and now we have Samurai Showdown showing up for this year. It might be a one-timer, but hey, at least they made it into the lineup somehow, right? So whether it's money or just coming out from Mr. Wiz and his boys, so I would like to definitely kind of take a glimpse at it, when it comes to being at EVO, and we'll definitely we'll know how the game turns out once EVO comes around. But there is one thing I do want to talk about that's not in this lineup, and it involves with a big game that had a lot of legacy, along with a couple other games that are missing too. But this is a big one, and that is the lack of Super Smash Bros. Melee. Now, I don't know if this is permanent. No one knows really, but people are speculating that it might come back, next year, depending on how the games turn out, right? Like, who knows? Samurai Showdown could be the greatest thing or whatever, or Untitled in Birth might be the greatest thing. I don't know. I mean, it depends on certain games, and if those certain games kind of don't perform as well as other games or whatever, then Melee might come back in there. But for right now, this is a first one in a long time that we haven't seen Melee, and I think this is probably because not mostly with Joe and the others, or Mr. Wiz and the others, but I think Nintendo had to play with or part of this, because they want to show off the latest game, Super Smash Bros. Ultimate, of course. That's like a no-brainer. It's understandable, and I think Ultimate definitely deserves that. It's just unfortunate still that a game like Melee, it's got so much legacy. It's got a lot of viewers still. A number of people still play it. They're very tight. They're a very tight community. They're just so just they really hold on to that game, and they really still make those numbers blow up and stuff like that. It's amazing to see a game like Melee still alive in a state it is right now. It's still amazing. It's such an old game, and yet it still gets that same amount of viewers and stuff like that. It amazes me, and I think also because another part of it is that EVO is not the premier tournament anymore for Melee. Other tournaments like CEO, I'm trying to think of another one, but other tournaments have been improving a whole lot, and EVO was, it's remaining a little stagnant. If that makes sense, it hasn't been improving as quickly as the others. Like CEO, Big House, Shine, Smash Con, and so on and so forth. Those tournaments have been improving vastly, and I think that's why it feels like EVO isn't the tournament anymore for Melee. So I think Melee will do fine. There's plenty other tournaments for Melee to show up, and those viewers are still gonna show up there. And so I think EVO not having Melee is not such a bad thing. It's not the end of the world for that community, right? So I think they'll be fine. And there's definitely plenty of other games that deserve those kind of spots. And Uniest, Samurai Showdown, Super Smash Bros. Ultimate, that's a no-brainer. So it's I at the end of things, as much as I love Melee to watch, of course, I would love to see games like this to come up on the main stage over Melee. That's just me, but it's a legacy game. I understand. It gets a lot of cool moments happen, and it's just it is a little sad. It is a little sad to see something like this. It could be the last that we see Melee at EVO. That's it is one of the biggest, if not the biggest, tournament at times. But again, these other tournaments, like I mentioned before, they've really been on top of their game when it comes to Melee. So there's nothing to really worry about, in my opinion. I mean, even so, it's such an old game. It's had a great run, and I would not be in a disagreement if the game decides to kind of just retire. You know what I mean? So again, it's really amazing to see a game like this still alive. It's when all these other fighting games are showing up at this kind of age, you know, like we're still getting new fighting games coming, you know, like the Grand Blue fighting game. That's, you know, and we still have more Kombat coming and stuff like that. And who knows what Arx is gonna be cooking up next, you know what I mean? And what Capcom's got on the plate, or, you know, and so on and so forth. There's so many other fighting games coming, or the possibilities coming in the future, and yet Melee is still just, you know, right behind it, you know, and it's that something like that really amazes me every time I think about it. But anyways, that's pretty much it on my thoughts on Melee not being there. It'll do fine. There's plenty of other tournaments, so, you know, I think it'll be fine. There's still Summit, there's still Shine, there's still CEO, there's still Smash Con. Go watch those tournaments. So anyways, now when it comes to the Sunday lineup, the Sunday finals, we have Street Fighter V, we have Tekken 7, we have Smash Ultimate, and we have BB Tag. BB Tag is it's still surprising me for this lineup, because it's not only on main stage, but it's a Sunday finals game. That's really that's just nuts. And what Joey has been saying, they've been really on top of their game, it looks like. And so the rules this time around will be 3 out of 5 the whole way, unlike last time, because, you know, 2 out of 3, you know, it's a little too fast in my opinion. So I think it's really good to see that it's all the way with best out of 5. So that's really good to see, and just that being a Sunday game, that's really cool. I have a feeling, though, I have a really strong feeling that it's going to be the first game at Sunday finals, and that means not a whole lot of people are going to show up live. So that's the nature of things. It's definitely the least quote-unquote popular out of the 4. So it definitely will have it first. So that means it will probably be on 9 a.m. on Sunday or whatever, so it'll be early, and that'll be a little hard for me to wake up to, but I will do my best. I love the game, and I will definitely try to, you know, catch the reveals and stuff like that, and I think myself and my friends will be super excited, you know, at least for those. But it's still cool to see, you know, BB Tag being in Sunday. It's crazy. And of course, Smash Ultimate definitely deserves it. Again, you know, same reasons I said before. It's still a really fun game, and, you know, it's got a lot of characters, it's got a lot of excitement around it, and it deserves a spot at Sunday as well. So, and of course, Tekken 7 and Street Fighter 5, you can't go wrong with those two. And also the fact that we only have 4 games, I think the energy will definitely be maintained a lot better with the audience. Having 5 games was a little too much. The game, or the finals, ended at Sunday, or no, not Sunday, excuse me, midnight of that Sunday, and that, you know, they said it was a little too long. I agree with it. It was getting a little too late, so we actually had to ditch the finals live just so we can have that final dinner with all of our friends, you know, being together, and we had Korean barbecue. So this time around, they definitely are training this better. So they only have 4 games. That's good. And they don't have that one game that takes way too long, and that's Dragon Ball FighterZ. I'm sorry, you know, I hope, you know, no offense, but that game takes way too long, especially with what it still has, and it still does enough. They don't offer enough damage. So the speed of it is still a little slow, maybe a little faster, but still not fast enough to be part of Sunday finals. And people were tired out after Dragon Ball FighterZ, because, you know, it's got a lot of hype around it. It's Dragon Ball, so, you know, especially with Cell's intro, everyone's just screaming every time, and every time, you know, Android 16 does a, you know, power bomb, everyone's just going crazy and stuff like that. And of course, we won't be seeing the Bardock level 3s constantly like we did last year. Oh my god, oh boy, those finals were something, right? And we probably won't see the Sonic Fox side switch, but that's another conversation. But anyway, so that's not there for Sunday Finals. For the best, understandable. Unfortunate for those people who love Dragon Ball Fighters a whole lot, but you gotta understand that the game takes way too long. So I think having those 4 games, it's a great balance. BB Tag is really fast and quick, action paced, whatever, and Smash is just great to just watch, just because it's got a bunch of characters lined up. And Tekken and Street Fighter always has some crazy moments, especially during Sunday Finals. So this is definitely looking like a shorter but definitely sweeter Sunday Finals for this year of EVOs. So that is pretty much it. I mean, I think when it comes to like the other things at EVO, like the Artist Alley and stuff like that, glad to see that those are making it back in there. And also there is a thing where if you don't register as a spectator or a participant for the tournament, you will have to pay a late fee, because they really want to they really want to know how many people are coming, how to prepare it and stuff like that. So they gotta know. So if you don't register by mid-June or something like that, the fees will go up. So if you wanna head to EVO, I always suggest getting your ticket at latest maybe May or something, right? So probably a good plan if you're planning to go to EVO anyway. So trying to get your tickets at June or whatever. June seems to be like the last minute sort of quota. So make your plans around that, and hopefully you don't have to pay the extra fees, as extra money is always a blow to your wallet. I mean, especially if you're in Vegas. And also water, oh my god, it's free, and they're gonna reduce the prices on the bottle of water. And I have a feeling that they're gonna be really stingy about having your own water bottle with you, like the metal like thermos or whatever, the tumblers or whatever you call them, the double layer bottles that that stay cool for long periods of time. They're probably going to be really stingy about it, so I'm probably not going to bring mine. Now that they said, oh, the water's going to be free anyway, so just carry around the bottle with you and just fill it up with water. There you go. I mean, that's kind of how it was 2015, and that's how it should have been, but I'm glad it's kind of going back to things slowly at least, and hopefully the water won't be such a heart piercer when it comes to your wallet. So at least there's that. So anyways, I think that's really much it. That's when it comes to something that's worth talking about. I think this is looking like a pretty good solid lineup for EVO 2019. Even with Melee not in there, I mean, it's a little sad, but again, it's got other tournaments to show off. So not worrying about it too much, at least for me anyway. But yeah, plenty of good surprises, plenty of things to look forward to. I don't know if we're going to watch finals live, but we'll catch them somehow nonetheless, whether it's on live stream or live. So nonetheless, we'll do our best to make it over to Las Vegas for August, from the 2nd to the 4th. I'll try to show up, and all my other homies will do their best to show up as well. And I look forward to this EVO, and I hope you guys are too. So if you guys have any comments or anything like that when it comes to EVO, let me know in the comment section below of the video, not necessarily the post, because I've kind of been noticing those. I really appreciate the comments in the post, but to make things a little easier on me when it comes to kind of looking for comments, seeing it in the actual comments of the video itself would be a whole lot easier for me to search and stuff like that. So please do that. I really appreciate the comments though in the posts. It's still comments or stuff to look at, but it's just when it comes to searching things, it's to me it's a lot easier to track them down in the video itself. So please do that in the video itself when it comes to comments. Really appreciate it, guys. And if you haven't already, hit the subscribe button. You know the drill. Like, share, subscribe, whatever. And or like, subscribe, comment. I don't know. Anyways, thank you so much. I'll see you guys in the next video. Ciao now.